Welcome to Subramani. If you have been following what is happening in the American economy, you would have heard of this word called billionaire tax, right? America is in need of a lot of money for developing their infrastructure. Make no mistake, America is one of the finest infrastructure, but like all infrastructure, it needs replacement for which they need money. And they have, at least Biden has in his electoral promise that he will not tax people below a particular range. I think it's $300,000 or $400,000, which gave rise to this concept called billionaire tax. Billionaire tax affects about 1,000 people in the US, likely to affect about 1,000 people in the US. It says you have to have $1 billion in assets, you have to have $100 million in income, right? So it affects a very, very small portion. Why am I talking about it here is because will something like this come to India? And the chances are, I think, quite high, because we have a very left-oriented government. Immaterial of what the Washington Post and New York Times tell you, the Modi government has been extremely left-oriented. Like I think Abhijit Iyer Mitra says, India has a left, which is Narendra Modi is at on a scale of 0 to 100, he is at 75. And the others are between 75 and 100, Congress being at 98 and the real left being at 99. So chances are we will have something like this, but the billionaire tax is not something which we have not had earlier. It is a kind of wealth tax and estate duty. So when you have wealth tax and estate duty, you don't need a billionaire tax. So US does not have too much of wealth tax, but it has a estate duty, which is a pretty crippling number. Though of course most of the billionaires get away by making sure that they have a big insurance policy to pay for it, etc., etc. I'm not getting into that, but the question is, when you look at a billionaire, let us look at, it is typical in India to talk of Ambani, Adani. How will you ever find out how much is the total revenue generated by one such person? Let us just take the case of Mr. Mukesh Ambani. He is let us assume for a minute that we call Reliance and Mukesh Ambani as one and the same, because otherwise somebody would say, oh, Reliance does it, not Mukesh Ambani. But I am assuming that both are the same for a minute. Look at the number of jobs they create, look at the amount of corporate tax they pay, look at the amount of the tax paid by their employees, right? Of course, employees don't have a choice. If you get a 1 crore salary, you will end up paying 30 lakhs as income tax. So the tax that they pay, then the fact that they create jobs in different locations. So a boy from say Tirunelveli or Salem comes and works in Bombay, so he pays rent. The landlord pays tax on that. So it is very, very difficult to find out how much is the real tax paid by one person. Of course, the tax that he has to pay on his income is there. So if he gets a salary of 10 crores, he has to pay salary tax on that, and if he gets dividend of 100 crores, he has to pay tax on that. Dividends are no longer taxed in the hands of the corporate, dividends are taxed in the hands of the individual. So yes, Narayan Murthy's and Azim Premji's and Mukesh Ambani's pay a lot of tax now because dividend tax has been introduced, right? So rather, dividend has been included in your income, so you will pay tax on that. But apart from that, the amount of economics that they generate, or the economy benefit that they have. Take a simple thing like even the marriages of Mukesh Ambani's children, the amount of economy that it generates in terms of people getting the flowers, getting in the food, getting in the sweets, making the arrangements, the number of Ola, Uber drivers used by them, by the contractors, by the guests, by the visitors, right? So much. And I mean airfares. So the big beneficiaries are the airports, the airlines, right? Everybody. That 700 crores was kept somewhere, it got removed and got spent. So the trickle down effect will also be there. But will India go back to wealth tax and estate duty? I'm sure it is not happening in 2023. Will it happen in 2025? I think so, yes. 2024 is the election year, so very unlikely that anything new will be introduced. But 2025, you can expect something like this. What exactly is the billionaire tax? And why is the whole of America cribbing about it? Billionaire tax affects billionaires, as it is obvious, but it includes not just an income tax on their income, but also a percentage of tax on their total assets on a basis of per year, right? So what happens is your so-called unrealized gain is also taxed. So how do you pay tax on unrealized gain? Well, you go and sell some portion of it and you pay the tax. Now for somebody, if the billionaire tax were introduced say in 2012 or 2014, it is very, very unlikely that somebody like Mr. Musk would still be holding such a big portion of Tesla, whatever he is holding, right? Because the only asset that he really has big time is Tesla shares, so he would have to sell part of Tesla shares. What happens to people who hold real big pieces of real estate? Suppose you own a real estate in India and that has a taxable value of 800 crores. And the government levies a 2% tax on that. So that is 16 crores. This 16 crores has to come from your post-tax income. So you should have something like 35-40 crores just to pay this 16 crore tax, because on that 30-40 crores you will pay some tax. And then the balance you will use to pay this, let's call it the billionaire tax. Will it happen in India? Yes. Will it happen to top 1000 people, 2000 people? I think no. Maybe it will happen to the top 20,000 people or 10,000 people. So the limits will be lowered and these kind of draconian rates will be introduced. What is the solution? Many people will find a solution of just migrating, right? If you got these kind of assets, you need to protect it by having a house in Cayman Islands, in Dubai and in London. And right, you need to protect yourself, because that's the only thing that you have to do. The kings who were really, I mean, let's call them the kings, king of Punjab, king of Nawab of Hyderabad, they could not preserve, because you had the draconian privy purse rules, etc., which just took away everything from them. Right? So is it good, is it bad? I'm not even talking about them, but do you think the top 1000 or 2000 people in any country, or even the top 10,000 people in any country won't know how to defend themselves, won't know how to handle all this mess if the government comes out with these draconian taxes? I don't know, but it is very easy for us to say that the government should do or should not do. Remember, we are a very poor country. But we have one bad thing about our taxation. We pick up all the bad things from all over the world. For example, we have no social security, but we say, oh, India and US pay same amount of tax, but US does not pay for school education. US gets social security. Australia, they get medical treatment for life, right? So look at all those things. Are we getting those things? Answer is no. Will we get those things with the current taxation levels? No, but we are a very poor country, remember that. So it is almost impossible to get this, and our growth rate is going nowhere, right? In the last 10 years we have not even doubled our GDP. So we have not, which means we have grown at a rate less than 7%. I don't think the average would be more than 5.7% or 5.8%, but look at it this way, that out of this 10 years, 8 years has been Modi government. So we are talking big, we are saying we will do this, we will do that, we will become a 5 trillion economy. Nice to talk. I'm sure we will reach there. I do not know when. So that's the tough part, right? Putting a date and the amount to it. So that I have no clue when we will reach there. Of course we will reach there. There's no doubt about that. Is the economy doing well compared to many other parts of the world? Yes. Will we be able to eliminate poverty? I think no. What are our big problems today? I think migration is the big problem. Lot of Indians are migrating. So is this video on the government? Am I talking about the government? Yes, I am talking about the government. Is it a political video? Answer is no. It is purely economical. I am convinced that wealth tax, estate duty will come back. Only question is 2023 or 25. I don't think it will come in 2024. And 2014 to 2022, we have as middle class paid more and more taxes. Talking of more and more taxes, I found a 85-year-old man paying taxes. I mean, he pays taxes on all his fixed deposits, he pays taxes on his pension, and the amount of money that his family is spending on him, which is totally non-tax deductible, is approximately 1.25 lakhs per month, right? I think something has to be done for senior citizens at least, and say, okay, people above 80 don't have to pay tax, or don't have to pay tax beyond or have to pay tax only beyond 1 crore of income or 10 crore of income, or some such huge number which will exempt 99.99% of the population. We need all these things. I don't think we're getting anything in this budget, so this is more a rant. But go and read about billionaire tax. A lot of the cobwebs will be removed from your head, and I think it is a little telling in terms of what we can expect to see in India, right? Thank you.